Hey, so the biggest lie in The Millionaire Next Door is that rich people do not look rich. And I'm going to tell you they do, just not the way you're looking. So the book goes through this, and I'm going to talk about some of the points in the book that I feel are not never emphasized enough, and I'm going to share with you a couple of those key points. So the first one is the idea that millionaires are boring. And they talk about frugality and they're and this whole idea that frugality is this idea of being cheap, right? I think that's a huge lie because whenever you look at millionaires and billionaires, they see frugality as a virtue. It's something where you're savvy, you're optimizing, you're efficient, you're effective. But yet, when people talk about frugality, they're usually often talking about it as being cheap or being ineffective, and those are two completely different things. And I think that's something where, again, it kind of gets mixed up in the book, where they say that millionaires are boring. But when I look at that book, I look at people who have optionality, they have ownership, they own their own, whether it be cars or homes, but also their own businesses. They own they own multiple streams of income. um, and not just the money side of it, but all the benefits associated with that. I mean, these are people who are able to retire their parents, put their kids through whatever schools they want to. They're able to travel, have complete control of their time. I mean, it's financial freedom. And again, it might not be signaling with objects. You're not driving the wealth in your driveway, but it's signaling with control, and it's valuing kind of that autonomy over the aesthetics. And so that's a big lie I see in the book about millionaires are boring. The other one too I see that people kind of mix up is this idea that you can just copy the strategies from the millionaires in terms of cutting coupons and being really efficient with your spend in terms of homes and cars. And then all of a sudden, if you copy those strategies, you'll become a millionaire. But the piece I don't see people talk enough about, and I want to emphasize again, is that again, these are people who have optimized their income as well. And whether that be through their careers, just being I would say savvy and wise with sort of pursuing careers that offer a big upside, or whether that's through being employers and owning a business and being able to expand operations and being savvy as just business owners. People often, again, go focus on the frugality, but frugality doesn't get you far if your income is very low. And so I think about it as that's something that people often misrepresent or they don't emphasize enough. And again, the idea that millionaires are boring, I mean, one of the most famous stories from the book is this Texas rancher comes in and they've got this lavish display of like caviar and champagne, and they offer him a drink and he's like, I don't drink champagne. I only drink beer, and two kinds of beer. I drink free and Budweiser, and that's obviously my best Texas impression. But the idea is like, I mean, that's not boring. I think that's hilarious. I think that's fun. I think it brings a certain level of confidence that I don't, it's unless that guy in the book and the story, that guy's worth like 20 or 30 million dollars. He knows what he wants. He's happy with that, and I think that's the level of frugality that resonates, and there's a certain attraction to that. So, The Millionaire Next Door, phenomenal book. But again, that's the biggest lie I see, is that millionaires are boring, or this idea that you can just copy the strategies from that book and you'll be good to go. And that's just not the case. So I hope you got something from this video. Leave a comment if you got something from this video, or let me know maybe another personal finance book that you've read that you've really enjoyed. I love Millionaire Next Door because it also talks about just all that entrepreneurial side of things, and that also just not just from a personal finance perspective, but also just the idea of how can I be savvy with the income side of things, right? And I think that's just not emphasized enough. So I'm willing to emphasize it 100 times over. But yeah, leave a like and subscribe if you want to hear more content. Till next time.